Hola amigos de Wine News TV, me encuentro aquí en el Hotel Serafina, en un restaurante precioso frente al mar y estoy con Federica Boffa, quinta generación de una de las bodegas más importantes del Piemonte, Pio Cesare, que por supuesto lo trae a Puerto Rico, el hórreo de Suarez, ¿no? La compañía Suarez, y se consiguen sus productos en la tienda del hórreo de Suarez. Federica, tanto gusto tenerte aquí.
Thank you.
Welcome,
it's a pleasure.
Welcome to the program. I
Thank
started
you.
my interview in Spanish, of course, but we're going to switch into English now.
Or Italian, if you
Or
want.
no, I can't. My wife could do it. I can't. My Italian is lousy. I only know the words related to food and football, calcio.
I thought only the bad words.
No. So, you were telling me off camera that this is your first time in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
What do you make of our island?
It's my very first time in Puerto Rico, and I came during a very special moment of my life because it was my birthday.
Your birthday.
2 days ago.
Congratulations.
So we celebrated over here until midnight
That's great.
2 nights ago. So yeah, they made a very special welcome to me.
That's great. Good to know that. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about what you've seen, the people, the consumers? I know you've had a couple of events. What's your impression?
My impression is that the island is full of very knowledgeable people about wine, and in particular about Italian wine.
Okay.
So I met a lot of very nice people, and I could talk about wine not only in general but also in particular. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that everybody knew about Pio Cesare.
Yeah, Pio Cesare is a huge Italian wine.
I wanted to bring something more about our history and our philosophy, and the idea of my trip was to present myself as a new generation of the family, fifth generation, and new face of the wine.
So you're going to be coming to Puerto Rico in the future many more times. You're going to be sort of representing the brand in many parts of the world.
Sort of refreshing the brand. I mean, we have a very long history. We were born in Alba in 1881, and we're going to be celebrating in 2 years our 140th anniversary.
That's a lot, okay.
And however, we want to say to the customer that we have a long history, but we're not dead. So we're still here, we're still working, still going on, still continuing the philosophy of the family.
Who started the winery?
The winery was founded by my great-great-grandfather, Cesare Pio.
Okay.
Cesare as a first name and Pio as a family name. So Pio Cesare is the name of the founder.
Okay.
But in the old days in Italy, they used to put the
last
family
name first.
Yes, that's why the winery is called Pio
Okay.
Cesare.
I know you have a lot of events. I want to thank Arnaldi, Andrea, all the Suarez members, because you have a very tight agenda. And they made a little spot, a little window for this wine blogger, lawyer, wine freak to talk. So they made a little spot for us to talk and meet. Tell me about the three wines that you brought. Tell me about the first one. It's a Chardonnay.
It's a Chardonnay. Piemonte is the land of red wines. Mm-hmm. We are famous to be very good red wine producer. Mm-hmm. However, we also make some white wine. Okay. We started to make this Chardonnay Pio di Lei in 1985, and Pio Cesare was among the very first producers to start planting and making the Chardonnay back in the old days. The idea of the Chardonnay was we were looking for a great white wine with the same character of Barolo and Barbaresco, which is structure, longevity, aging potential, and power.
Let's see what we find here, because our viewers are out there. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. Let's see what we find here. Love the nose. I mean, I always find in the Italian wines is just elegance. Getting some minerality, very, very nice minerality.
And it's very balanced because we don't like to stress too much the oak. We don't like to stress too much on new oak. So we try to make it very elegant and refined, which is the typical character of the Piemontese terroir. It's
stony, citrusy. You got that beautiful, beautiful acidity that's going to cut through the fat. It's going to cut through a cheese. Very, very sort of clean wine. I think it's beautiful for the weather in Puerto Rico.
It is, yes.
It's beautiful for seafood. In terms of wine-food pairings, I'm sure you have this Chardonnay all the time. Yeah. What do you like to pair it with?
Since it is a serious Chardonnay, so an important wine, important Chardonnay, I'd like to pair it with serious food, serious plate. For example, I like it to pair it with foie gras, it's very nice.
Oh, nice.
Or simply a plate of very good prosciutto, like for example Serrano or Camon. Very nice.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful combination
my
right there.
Combination,
yeah, it's beautiful. What year is this?
It's 2014.
2014. This is very.
Yes.
Can it age? How well does it
is,
age?
Yes, it can last for at least 15 years.
15 years. So you've had. If you
I
started
did.
making this in '85, so there are some of the 1990 wines that you've had.
I did, yes, and they age very well, and that's the main thing we were looking for when we decided to make it, aging potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that we name it Pio di Lei. In Italian means Pio for the women, because we wanted to dedicate it to the family, to the women of the family.
Oh, that's great. You're part of that, of
yes,
course.
because the winery is from my grandmother's side. So
Okay.
from the ladies.
It's a beautiful wine, so elegant, so fresh, but it does have a long finish. When you said it's a serious wine, it definitely is, because the flavor keeps reverberating and coming back, and it's got this sort of clean feel to it. Very, very good wine. Let's go to the second one.
Sure.
We're entering into the Nebbiolo area.
We are entering the
I'm
Nebbiolo
sure
world.
you've said this thousands of times. Tell me about the Nebbiolo grape.
Yes, so the Nebbiolo grape is the most important grape of our region, of Piemonte in general, and of the Langhe region in particular. Nebbiolo is a grape that can. There are a lot of many different shades of the Nebbiolo. You can taste a Nebbiolo very young, you can taste a Nebbiolo just in stainless steel, or you can taste it the real Nebbiolo, which are Barbaresco and Barolo.
Small barriques when you age,
No,
or big?
we employ the most part of the Barbaresco and Barolo are aged in large oak botti,
okay.
large oak cask, French oak,
French oak.
and a small passage in barrique as well, but very, very small.
So the difference between Barbaresco and Barolo, how would you, for consumers out there who are just starting out, maybe in
Yeah.
very simple terms?
It's very difficult to say the difference to find the difference between Barbaresco and Barolo, because they are like brother and sister day and night.
I've heard one is more feminine, the other more
It
masculine.
is, yes. Barbaresco is more feminine, is more refined, a little bit, I think, softer than the Barolo. It is described as the queen of the wine of Piemonte.
And Barolo is the king.
And Barolo is the king.
And Barbaresco, I've heard, and tell me if I'm wrong, maybe it's a little approachable earlier than the Barolo?
It is, in general, yes. We are making the difference with our Barbaresco is that we age the Barbaresco the same year as Barolo.
Okay.
So we are out with the same vintage of Barolo and Barbaresco
Okay,
together.
all right.
Because we think that they need a certain amount of time, to better express.
So beautiful
the
nose
character.
of roses, of
Yeah.
tar, of citrus, like red citric fruit, a little bit of that earthy licorice, red cherry. Beautiful, and I love the color. The color is so elegant because it's not this dark, impossible to see through wine. It's so elegant.
Well, sometimes people say, oh, it's a very light color. Indeed, Nebbiolo is a grape, elegant, refined, with a lot of purity. It's not a fruit bomb. It's not a grape with a very intense color. It's very elegant, very refined.
I love how it's so agile. It's so in the palate, feels very much alive and dynamic and energetic. It's not a whack of fruit. It's elegance, it's purity, but it's got power. It's got this spine. It's got this acidity. This is a very much gastronomic wine. I think it pairs beautiful with food.
Yes.
This is very, very good. What would you pair this with?
I would pair with a nice plate of pasta made with the ragu, so made with meat, or even with chicken, or main pasta.
The herbs are coming out. I mean, to me, and I love Italy. I've been to Italy a couple of times with my wife, and Italian food is just second to none. And the Italian wines, at least the wines that I like, tend to be very food-friendly wines because they have the acidity. They're not like huge meals unto themselves. Certain wines are so big that you don't need to eat because you're full with the wine. This is very, very good.
This is Nebbiolo, so...
Yeah, you're obviously biased towards Nebbiolo. Yeah. Let's go to the Barolo.
Let's go to the Barolo.
Okay, tell me about this one. What year is the Barbaresco?
Let's see. 2014.
2014.
And 2015 Barolo, even if we go with the same vintage every year.
I love it. I'm getting dried meats here. I'm getting a lot. You said prosciutto a little while ago.
Yes.
I'm getting mushrooms.
You're getting hungry.
Getting hungry. It's true. Yeah.
So Barbaresco and Barolo, our Barbaresco and our Barolo are made in the classic way, which is that we blend different vineyards location.
Okay.
We don't focus on a specific single vineyard or on a specific property. We focus on the region, on the terroir, which means that we take the best from each vineyard, from each village, and we blend at the end. In particular, in our Barolo, we have 7 different vineyards all together, all family owned.
Oh my God. I can definitely tell that, not that this is a more serious wine, but this is, compared to the Barbaresco, it's a wine that does feel a little bigger.
Yeah.
Does feel like it will have a longer shelf life.
Yeah.
Wow. Long finish. Again, very similar in style. I can see the queen and king reference. Sometimes the queen, at least in my house, my wife, the queen holds the real power.
Well,
you as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
My father is surrounded by women at
Oh,
home.
good.
So.
Well, he's a smart man and a blessed guy. What's next for Pio Cesare? I mean, you guys have changed the labels, not so much because you have those sort of medals, but you did a little overhaul.
We stayed on the same label as ever. We have, for example, I have a 1916 bottle at home, Barolo.
16?
Which is the very first bottle ever labeled by our family.
103 years ago.
Yes,
wow.
And if you compare the 1916 label with the 2015 label, which is the current vintage, you find
you're
difference.
classic bodega, classic winery from the Piemonte. Any new projects? What's next? I mean, it's so refreshing to see you. I know that we'll likely interview you many more times in the future.
Thank you.
And hopefully one day go to Italy and because we're gonna go to Rioja in Spain next year to do a couple of interviews. So it's a quick jump, and I got some friends. I got some friends in Tuscany, but Pio Cesare, I'm biased. I've always been a client of your wines. I purchased for my personal consumption. Any new projects? I know you also make the Ornato, which is a beautiful single vineyard Barolo. I've had lots of your wines, as you can see. What's new? What's next?
What's new? We made a new acquisition in 2014, which since 2014 we are independent with grapes.
Okay.
We made the last acquisition. We bought 10 hectares in Monforte, which is a very well-known village in the Barolo area.
Monforte.
In these 10 hectares, these 10 hectares were planted with Nebbiolo, Barbera, and Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Nebbiolo grape, we made a new single vineyard Barolo. 2015, this current vintage, we came out with the Barolo Mosconi, which is very, very, very limited amount of bottles, 5,000 bottles for all the world.
Okay.
So right now we have 2 single vineyard Barolo, Ornato and Mosconi from Monforte.
Okay.
They are very close in terms of
I don't know
location.
the Mosconi. The Ornato I've had before.
The 2 vineyards are very close, like 200 meters, but they show completely different character. One is more feminine, the other one is more masculine, the other one has more intense tannins, talking about Ornato, while Mosconi has softer tannins, more concentration, but a little bit softer.
I have to get a bottle of the 2013, make a note to myself when I review this interview, my son's vintage. This has been a great interview. I think that the future is guaranteed by your past, your tradition. It's so good to see
That's
you.
That's what we do. We follow the family style and what our generation before me.
And now you're just taking the baton from them and taking the the mission from them. These are some fantastic wines. They've been in Puerto Rico for a number of years. Lovers of Italian wines know Pio Cesare. They know they can rely on its quality, on its long life, on its capacity to pair beautifully with Puerto Rican food. We eat a lot of meat here. We eat a lot of things with herbs and condiments. So the herbs and the spices, I mean, these are very, very food-friendly wines. So I'm going to do my rap in Spanish. And thank you for everything, amigos.
Thank you.
Ha sido un placer esta entrevista. Cheers to you. Ha sido un gran placer esta entrevista con Federica de Pio Cesare, Federica Boffa, de una de las familias más importantes en la zona del Piemonte. Los vinos de Pio Cesare son joyas. And something, your wines, they're so good, and they have this amazing quality to them and the capacity to age, but they don't have these prohibited prices.
Yes.
I mean, you keep the prices.
That's secret. I mean.
Yeah, that's the other day, and I know we had said we were gonna wrap up, but I bought 3 or 4 bottles of the 2013. The Barolo, the plain Barolo. I think I paid like 60 something each bottle, and that's an incredible price for a very, very age-worthy, delicious wine. So you've kept your prices very reasonable.
Thank you so much.
And I want to congratulate you for that. Pio Cesare always gets rave reviews, great ratings, and you could easily, if you bump up the price, like don't take ideas here, but if you bump up the price to double the amount, people would still collect them.
Thank you.
So as a consumer, thank you for keeping very reasonable prices.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Amigos, busquen estos vinos, son geniales, son vinos que llevan mucho tiempo en Puerto Rico, pero para los que no los conocen, busquen Pio Cesare. Salud, será hasta la próxima.
Grazie.
Bye bye. Cheers.
Cheers.